he's very much attack minded. Which is what you want from a number 10. He's comparison. People are going to laugh at this. Do you know when you do your research, he says, what type of player is it like? Guess who's come up?
Ronaldinho.
Kevin De Bruyne. Which, don't take it as read. Clearly, he's not going to be that technical. But I think what it's more doing is saying that it's the style of player he is. It doesn't say he's Kevin De Bruyne. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue, and the January transfer window is drawing to a close now. At the time of recording, it closes just about 3 to 4 days from this recording. Birmingham City have made a recent acquisition with the loan signing of Kieran Dowell from Rangers. Kieran is a attacking central midfielder. And in this podcast, myself and Matt are going to just have a little chat about Kieran, his previous career, some of his attributes, and see how he'll fit into the Birmingham City team. So, Matt, when you saw the acquisition of Kieran Dowell, do you know much about him, or what's your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I did was listen to the interview when he joined. I mean, I must admit, don't close your eyes, though, because with his Scouse accent and the amount of he says, I thought Rooney was back.
Oh, my word, don't say that.
But no, in all seriousness, I didn't know much about him. I know he played for Nottingham Forest, was on loan. I knew he was at Norwich, Sheffield United.
I'll go through his teams.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd heard of him from them. Yeah. And again, we'll come on to the feedback, Dad, because there's a bit of a mixed bag from different fans. But I didn't know how much experience this guy brings. Again, I'm going to rob this information from the Blues infographic they shared, but he's 27, 251 career appearances, 47 career goals, 26 assists, and 5 trophies won. That was on the Blues social media that they shared, like a little stat there. I know a few Blues... Mixed from the Blues fans. I think some are excited to get another number 10 in. Some are a little bit underwhelmed, but there's always, everyone's entitled to the opinion. We believe that. But with the Blues fan base, we know that, don't we? There's a few areas that are just going to be underwhelmed no matter who comes through the door. It's one of those things, you can give someone £1 million, the moment it's 50s, not 20s. It's one of those things. But, for me, Dad, this is about context. Dowell has played Premier League, Champions League, Europa League, Scottish League. He's never dropped below the Championship.
He has now.
He has now. Welcome to Birmingham City. But I think this is a bit of a coup in the context of where he's played. I mean, for me, he's cover for Willumsson, in my opinion. Yeah. I think Willumsson's still going to be our number 10. Yeah. But he's here for cover. And when you look at that, look at his stats, look at where he's played, I think you can sniff at that.
I think, again, the key thing you've mentioned there is that what people maybe don't realise, the amount of experience he's got. And he's 27 years old, which we've always said, or I've always said, that's just the actual start of the peak at 27. So he's not like a young player. I also think I agree with you that he's coming as a number 10. Although he can play, actually, he can play in central midfield and he can play out wide as well, but he's generally going to be an attacking midfield, so he's going to be cover for Willumsson. That tells me a number of things. Tells me, firstly, that Chris Davies is not happy with our current options, apart from Willumsson. If Williamson's injured, we haven't really got, I think, a backup that he feels is effective enough. That's been Luke Harris or even Lyndon Dykes. But I mean, to be fair, like Dykes is getting improving, he's getting better, but he's not mobile enough really for a number 10. You want a number 10 with a little bit of pace. Dykes is more of a target man, in my opinion. He's good at what he does in the target area. But if you like, when we the Huddersfield game, which was yesterday evening, when we at the time of recording, there's a few times the ball's played through to Dykes on the floor, and he was just outpaced by their defenders. And that's just the type and style of player he is he? This guy's is a little bit faster, I think.
But Dykes is the outlet for a physical game, isn't he? Yeah. And because we're in League One, I think Chris Davies fancies him from time to time because we hit the physical battles, don't we? Yeah. And we've had it before all season where you hit 11 men behind the ball, quite physical teams. Dykes does have his place in that regard. But if you want a flary, fast, skillful number 10, you want someone like Dowell. You would be looking at someone like Harris, but we all know this season he hasn't quite done it for the Blues. He's a talented player, hasn't quite been firing. So for me, I think this is good cover.
Yeah, he's left-footed as well.
Yeah.
Which we did. We seem to have got a good balance, because last season we had a very sort of imbalanced team, didn't we? With mainly right-footers with the odd left-footer here and there. Let me just give you a bit of his previous history, his transfer history, because it's we talked earlier about the experience that he's got. So he's been he's been to various teams on loan. You mentioned Nottingham Forest. He's played for Everton, Sheffield United, Derby. Been to Wigan on loan in 1920. year 1920. Obviously Norwich.
So
and
in year 1920?
No, 2019, 2020.
Oh, bloody hell, how old is it?
Yeah, he's obviously he's following the same type of career path to a lot of other players, because obviously we've got quite a few players from Rangers now. In fact, Rangers were talking about, some of the Rangers fans saying, "Oh, Birmingham's now become a feeder team."
Yeah.
It's not, we are getting a lot of players from them, but they.
I ain't complaining.
Neither
Ben
am I.
Davies,
Well,
Scott Wright, and Dowell.
Well, when they said Ben Davies coming, I said, "You can have him." Blah blah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Scott Wright on his day,
Yeah.
and he's improving. Thanks, and I'm sure we're going to, like every player, we'll give this guy a chance as well. Of course, that's the thing, isn't it? When you look at fans of a team where a player's just coming from, you're going to have players. I'll just have him anyway.
Well, I think Rangers hate all their players, because I've never seen them give a compliment to any of their own team.
If Birmingham City, if they're calling Birmingham City, their feeder team, we could call Rangers the players' graveyard, because they kill players' careers there, don't they?
It seems that way, doesn't it?
It's the same thing, isn't it? But we've been actually really, I think we've been really blessed with the players that we've got from there.
In all seriousness, Dad, obviously we're having a bit of a joke and a laugh about it. Label as Rangers feeder club, I don't care.
Yeah.
The players that we're getting, Ben Davies has completely transformed our defence since he came in consistently. So no, label away, I don't care. Well, we'll take your players all the way up to back into the Championship, hopefully. So good times.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at Kieran Dowell's strengths, really, from my research shows, he's quite technical, so he's got good ball control, which a little bit like Willumsson as a number 10. He's got good ball control, and I think he's got this same type of thing. He's pretty creative with his passing, which I think what Chris Davies wants him for. You want a number 10 that can see things.
Unlock.
Yes, yeah. So he can pretty creative with his passing. He's got decent finishing ability. You mentioned his goals, which I will come on to in a minute as well. And he's versatile as well, so he can operate across the midfield. So we've got versatility in Taylor Gardner-Hickman and a few other players, but this is another one where we might need to change things around. Yeah. If he's in the team or on the bench, we've got a player that can come and fill quite a number of different positions. Weaknesses, and we always have to try and give a balanced argument here, and this is only from my research. Physicality, sometimes he's nudged off the ball a little bit too quickly. He's consistency. I think that's another thing that the Rangers fans have been talking about, that he'll have a really, really good game and then have a couple of poor games. But under Chris Davies improves players, doesn't he? So he'll get the consistency out there. He's very much attack minded, which is what you want from a number 10. He's comparison. People are going to laugh at this. Do you know when you do your research, he says, what type of player is he like? Guess who's come up?
Ronaldinho.
Kevin De Bruyne. Which, don't take it as read. Clearly, he's not going to be that technical, but I think what it's more doing is saying that it's the style of player he is. It doesn't say he's Kevin De Bruyne.
Isn't Kevin De Bruyne on like 350 grand a week or something?
Let me just talk about his goals, because you mentioned that, and I think particularly when we sign attacking players, it's worth looking at their goals. So going back in his early career, he played 17 games for Sheffield United, scored 2 goals with 1 assist. Rangers, he's played 32 games, scored 2 goals and 2 assists, but a lot of his Rangers career has been off the bench. He hasn't started a huge amount of games. Nottingham Forest, he played 43 games, 10 goals and 5 assists. Everton under 21s, which is not really sort of a senior team, but 55 games, 15 goals, 9 assists. And Norwich, 75 games, which is the team he's played the most games for, 12 goals and 6 assists. I don't think that's bad.
No.
I think that's a really good...
Again, then, look at the clubs you've just listed. Sheffield United, Norwich, I know Rangers, Nottingham Forest.
Wigan, Derby.
You're talking Premier League, Championship clubs.
So that's good. So it shows you that he's a goal threat, and he can play a supply line. He's played 123 goals in the games in the Championship, scoring 26 goals and 12 assists. Premier League 2, I'll say it anyway now, I've said it, 55 games, 15 goals, 9 assists. There is goals in this guy, and he's a supply line, which is not something we haven't really had from man number 10s this season, apart from Willumsson.
When Williamson's firing and he's on all cylinders, he's a good number 10.
But because of Williamson's style of play, because of his height, and because of his position, he's gonna be prone to injury, because he's gonna have a lot of tackles against him, isn't he? Like you would say, like other areas of the pitch are the same, but the attacking ones are where the players seem to dive in, don't they?
Yeah.
So we do need a backup, and I think this guy looking at I think Rangers fans have also said that he is prone to injury,
Yes.
and but you know what, Matt? I think that's a risk you take with any player. To be honest,
of course it is.
Some players have a reputation for being injured quite often, and I think this guy is one of those guys. But overall, to me, I think he fits the bill for a good backup number 10.
Well, the injury bar has been set by Tyler Roberts, so as long as he plays one game in the next 2 seasons, he'll be all right. Remember Tyler Roberts? 1 point, he was just on the injury table.
Tyler Roberts, yeah. I know he's out on loan at Northampton at the moment, but I've heard nothing about so many goals he scored.
No. But it was just a comparison to the injury. If he does better than him, then we'll be all right, won't we? Remember that? We signed him. He's like, where's he gone? Does he even play for us anymore by Christmas?
Yeah.
Just completely disappeared.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of those attributes you mentioned that are exactly what you want from a number 10.
Yeah.
You want them to be getting out of tight spaces, good passing, unlocking teams, good link-up play, good shooting at distance. You want those sort of attributes. And you mentioned about giving the ball away. Again, a number 10, an arrogant one, a cocky one who tries to take it around the player, he's going to lose it a few times. That is part of the beast of being a decent number 10, in my opinion. A bit like Yakayama.
Yeah.
Really quality player, but you can lose the ball sometimes.
You've got to bear in mind with a number 10, you're competing with their centre halves and their midfield
and their centre defensive mids as well.
And they're always like the gritty type of physical players. So you are going to get tackled, you are going to lose the ball. So that is expected. It's one of
those things, though, isn't it? As a number 10, Dad, if you play your teammates in 7 times but you lose it 3. It levels out to be a positive contribution, so it's that sort of thing where he's going to lose it. But
what's that you asked for? Was it heat map? Oh yes, I've got one.
I can see something lining up in your eyes there.
Yeah, I've got a heat map, and again, as an attacking midfielder, his heat map for this season for Rangers is as you'd expect it to be. It's predominantly in that in the opposition half in that midfield area with a slight bias to the right, which he's a left-footed player, don't forget, but there's a very slight bias to the right-hand side. Yeah,
cutting in and shooting, maybe.
Yeah, because of his left, isn't it? But there's not much heat in relation to our own penalty box at all. Maybe for the odd corner, I presume he'll be there to defend. Yeah. But he is very much, and you'll see this from the heat map, very much an attacking player.
Yeah. I've heard this, Dad. I've heard some teams say that he doesn't. Again, this is just in the interest of balance argument. The feedback is he doesn't track back sometimes as much. He stays in the attacking part of the pitch.
That's something that Chris Davies will instill in him. Once we're out of possession, you've got defensive responsibilities, and I'm sure he will change that because Chris Davies won't allow him to not do that. Because that could cost us goals, couldn't it? But ultimately, overall, from my perspective, I think this is a good sign. I didn't know an awful lot about him, and it came as a little bit of surprise. We didn't really sometimes you hear rumours, don't you, a few days before. This came maybe a day before and slightly out of the blue, and it happened quite quickly. And as I've looked into him and as we've done this research, I'm actually really pleased. Just one final thing for me, Matt, on stats as well. He has also played for England under 16s, 17s, 18s, 20s, and 21s.
Okay.
For the England, this is going back to 2017. England under 21s played 16 games and scored 2 goals. And the under 20s prior to that, 16 games and 1 goal. Okay. So obviously he was in the England youth teams as well. So nice. All in all for me, happy with the signing, and I'm sure he's going to make a great addition to the squad.
Yeah. One final thing for me, Dad, and you know me, I'm the social media guy on the podcast. I do the research on what the fans are saying and what they're doing. So I've been on, had a little look at what other teams are saying. So Rangers fans, as we know, we've discussed this, they're quite happy to see the back of him, but they were quite happy to see the back of Scott Wright and Ben Davies.
Yes,
I would take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Sheffield United fans said that he's good, held him in good regard. Norwich fans said if you can keep him fit, he'll be good at that level. Nottingham Forest fans said he was good for them as well, but I don't think he left there on particularly good terms. A little bit of something there, but they said he was a good player, and Wigan liked him as well. So I think that the theme is, if you can keep him fit, get that match practice in, you've probably got a good player on your hands here. That's the collective overall theme I'm getting from these clubs. I'm going to judge him as I always do when he puts the blue shirt on. I saw him at Huddersfield last night for I think about 10-15 minutes, was it?
Came on late,
Obviously, it's hard to make an impact really in that amount of time, but looked okay, and looking forward to seeing what he's got.
Yeah, and don't forget, he's only come through the door a few days, so he needs to get some training under his belt, and
exactly.
I'm sure we'll see the best of him as we go for the rest of the season. But hopefully you found that interesting, Blues fans, and a bit of extra information on this new signing that we've got. Remember, he's on loan till the end of the season, so love to get your thoughts, what you feel about the acquisition. I mean, obviously, clearly you can't judge him on what he's done in the blue shirt yet, because he's only played about 10 minutes, having arrived just a few days ago. But what's your thoughts on what he will do? You know, what he can add if we can keep him fit, and what positive attributes or maybe things that you feel he's going to bring to the team. Put your comments below, as always. As well, if you did like this podcast, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you'll find us on there now, and you'll see the handles for all of these appearing on the screen right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button. And if you want notifications, hit the little bell next to the red subscribe button, and that will allow you to have a notice every time we put a podcast out, so you can watch it as we do them. Hope you enjoyed the podcast as always. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City